Hi, it's Katrina. When it comes to resolving archaeology's unanswered questions, some people believe that ancient aliens had a hand in the creation of magnificent monuments. From prehistoric airports to architecture that would impress today's most skilled builders, here are 8 archaeological sites that people believe were built by extraterrestrials. Number 8. The Great Pyramids of Giza. Initially, archaeologists failed to come up with an explanation for how the Great Pyramids of Giza were built. The blocks they're made out of are so large and heavy, researchers couldn't fathom how they were transported and assembled by collective manpower alone. There was also a lack of evidence at dig sites indicating how the job was done. Since all we had were questions with no answers, some people resorted to the theory that the pyramids, therefore, must have been built by ancient aliens. Science fiction writers have entertained the idea of aliens accomplishing seemingly impossible terrestrial engineering feats since the late 19th century. It was very hard for us to imagine ancient people having advanced knowledge of engineering and construction. The idea that aliens built the pyramids, or anything else, is typically not regarded as reliable science, but as something called pseudo-archaeology. It's not considered credible within the academic community, and for a good reason. As writer Sarah E. Bond pointed out in a November 2018 article for the website Hyperallergic, the accomplishments of African, South American, Native American, and other non-European cultures in general are obscured by theories about ancient aliens, and the agency, archaeology, and intellect of these great societies are undermined by such notions. Mounting evidence increasingly points towards human ingenuity and strength as the driving force behind the creation of archaeological wonders previously thought to have been built by aliens, including the pyramids. Last year, archaeologists at Hatnub, an ancient quarry site in eastern Egypt, discovered a 4,500-year-old ramp system that they believe was used for hauling massive alabaster stone blocks into place. Based on the dates of inscriptions, this technology was likely used during the reign of Khufu, the ancient Egyptian pharaoh who likely commissioned the Great Pyramid of Giza. Number 7. Atlantis. Before I get to the theory about Atlantis being built by aliens, remember that most people by now believe it is a fictional place to begin with. In 2018, a survey of paranormal beliefs known as the Survey of American Fears, which is conducted by Chapman University in California, determined that around 41% of Americans believe that ancient aliens visited Earth, while an astounding 57% of Americans believe that Atlantis existed. This was a shocking climb from just 2 years earlier, when an estimated 27% of Americans believed in ancient aliens and 40% thought Atlantis was real. Put simply, people are not only becoming increasingly convinced of these beliefs in separate contexts, but also that Atlantis itself was built by aliens. One self-proclaimed hypnotherapist and past life regressionist, if that's even a valid profession, I don't even really know what that means, named Dolores Cannon, insists on her website that aliens have been visiting Earth since its creation. Some of her clients recall having visited Atlantis during past lives, describing the mythical metropolis as a highly technologically advanced society that had flying cars and experienced frequent encounters with extraterrestrials. To combat the disturbing and recent growth of beliefs like these, reputable archaeologists, including David Anderson of Radford University in Virginia, are becoming more vocal in their dismissal of them. One way they're doing this is by taking to social media platforms, blogs, podcasts, and news outlets to debunk claims and explain what proper archaeological methods entail. Archaeologists have historically remained quiet about pseudo-archaeology despite the scientific field's early contributions to outdated and fantastical theories about ancient aliens and fictional places like Atlantis. Jeb Card, an archaeologist at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, stated, "We have to own these stories." Although it's proving to be difficult to get through to people, archaeologists now see it as their duty to at least try. In Anderson's words, "My profession needs to do a better job of speaking out." Number 6. Stonehenge. One thing you'll notice as a recurring theme is that a lot of theories about aliens building ancient structures stem from the belief that ancient people lacked the strength and technology to move large boulders and cuts of stone into place. Having been constructed with massive stones that were somehow transported hundreds of miles to the site from their quarry, Stonehenge is no exception. Swiss author Erich von Däniken has suggested that Stonehenge served as a landing pad for alien spacecraft and that it's also a model of our solar system. Scientists have yet to figure out the exact meaning of Stonehenge. Although the stones at the site align with the solstices and eclipses, researchers have concluded, not surprisingly, that it was not built by aliens. More and more has been excavated, and it is now believed it was one of the earliest places where people would come together for spiritual reasons and for major gatherings. Besides, even though this Stonehenge is the most famous, there are many more around the world. Be sure to check out my video on ancient megalithic structures to learn more. Scientists and archaeologists have successfully demonstrated that it was possible to build the monument using 5,000-year-old technology, which emerged around the same time the site's earliest structures were built. Number 5. Sacsayhuaman. Sacsayhuaman is a 1,000-year-old fortress nestled in the Peruvian Andes near the old Inca capital of Cusco. Some people believe that the builders of Sacsayhuaman had a little help from extraterrestrials because it's constructed out of stones that are not only enormous, but chiseled with such precision they fit together perfectly like a jigsaw puzzle. TripAdvisor user MBB777 wrote in an October 2018 review of the site, "I can't even begin to fathom how this place could have been built by a primitive human culture. Definitely aliens." Each rock used in the construction of Sacsayhuaman weighs up to 360 tons. Before being fitted into place with laser-like precision that would wow even today's construction professionals, the rocks were carried some 20 miles from their quarry site. Walls similar to those of Sacsayhuaman exist in various places throughout the former territory of the Inca Empire. Recently, archaeologists discovered evidence of a rope and lever system that was used by the Incas to transport stones from quarries to cities. They've also found metal and stone tools that could have been used for the impressive precision stone cutting, including chisels and hammers. Number 4. The Nazca Lines. In the arid Peruvian desert about 200 miles southeast of Lima, over 800 seemingly random lines are etched into the ground surface. They're accompanied by 70 animal shapes, including a spider, monkey, humanoid, and hummingbird, just to name a few, and around 300 geometric designs. The biggest shapes are 1,200 feet across, and the longest straight line stretches for miles. Some of the lines run parallel, while others crisscross or are wavy. Scientists estimate that the lines and images are around 2,000 years old. Due to the region's stable and dry weather conditions, the lines are in remarkably good condition for their age. Many consider the Nazca Lines to be the 8th wonder of the world. Others take their fascination a step further, believing that the Nazca Lines were created by beings from outer space, and that they may have been an ancient alien power grid or landing strip. This belief was inspired by their size, age, mysterious nature, and because they're best seen from a bird's eye view or from atop nearby hills. To many, attributing the lines to the handiwork of extraterrestrials is the most logical explanation for how and why they were created. Researchers discovered, however, that the lines were made using a laborious but fairly simple process involving the removal of around 12 to 15 inches of the rust-colored top layer of rocks to expose the white sand underneath. The dry, arid climate has helped to preserve them all of these years. The reasons for the creation of these lines is yet to be determined. Experts have ruled out the possibility that the designs are aligned with constellations or solstices. They suspect that the lines represent ritual or ceremonial sites related to fertility and water. Number 3. The Sphinx. When geologists examined weathering and erosion at the base of the famous Sphinx monument near the Great Pyramids of Giza, they determined the structure may be up to 10,000 years older than originally thought. Although the findings have yet to be confirmed, proponents of ancient alien theories seem to have accepted the preliminary data as fact. That's because the Sphinx, being 10,000 years older than its previously estimated age, bolsters their theory that several early species of human existed, and that these species were essentially rough drafts created by aliens before they made us and were happy with the result. This process, according to alien enthusiasts, occurred over thousands of years. They also believe that the Sphinx was created by one of these so-called first draft human species, and that it represents a tribute to their alien creators or an example of what these early humans looked like. Even if the Sphinx truly is older than experts first thought, the aforementioned version of events is not remotely grounded in scientific fact. It's probably safe to dismiss this convoluted narrative as pseudo-archaeology. Number 2. Derinkuyu. Derinkuyu is a 6-story underground city in Turkey that was carved out of bedrock. It can reasonably accommodate up to 20,000 people, along with food and water supplies, as well as some horses. The subterranean city includes living spaces and sections that were probably used as marketplaces, as well as training and recreational areas. Its entrance can only be closed from the inside. Nobody knows when, why, or by whom Derinkuyu was built, but there are several theories, of course. Some people with unusually vivid imaginations think that Derinkuyu was a fortress built to keep out alien invaders. Others think it was an operational alien city, hidden in plain view from nearby humans. The prevailing theory, however, is that Derinkuyu was constructed as a shelter for humans to seek refuge from other invading humans. Number 1. Baalbek. Located in the Bekaa Valley of modern-day Lebanon, Baalbek was a Phoenician city dedicated to the sky god Baal, which translated to Lord or God. Its history goes back 9,000 years to the Bronze Age. During Roman times, Baalbek was called Heliopolis and was dedicated to Zeus, the king of the gods. This newer city, Heliopolis, was built atop a huge rock platform that was likely the original site of Baalbek. If you ask academic scholars, the platform's true purpose is unknown, along with who built it. The platform was likely built during pre-Roman times. It's made of gargantuan rock slabs, the biggest of which weighs around 1,500 tons and measures 68 by 14 by 14 feet. They're the largest known building blocks to have ever existed. Researchers remain baffled to this day about how such huge boulders were transported, a feat that the Romans of the time were incapable of. Present-day believers in the sky god Baal think that there was once an airport on the platform that Heliopolis was eventually built on, complete with launching pads and runways. They have also posited the theory that Baalbek represented the first place on Earth where Baal arrived, and that he used the airport's apparatuses for his landing and departure. Some people even believe that the gods were extraterrestrials who helped humans using their magical powers, and that Zeus himself had a hand in the construction of the airport that they think once existed at the site. Thanks for watching! Do you believe in ancient aliens? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!